So recently, a lot of updates and new games have been published in the Minecraft Bedrock Hive server. Things including Sky Royale, game updates, or even messenger bots. But today I'm going to head back to one of the oldest games in the Hive, survival games, and talk about why it is yet the best game mode in Hive even till this day. Though, as a disclaimer, I just want to say that these opinions are all in my own perspective, so please do not get offended if we might not share the same thoughts. Last but not least, please do consider subscribing if you do enjoy this video. It's always free and you can unsubscribe later on if you decide to change your mind. Now let's get into the video. So first, I would just like to start by talking a bit about the history and what exactly survival games really is. So basically, survival games is a game pretty much for hardcore players who really like to PvP, because survival games is a very PvP based game. So survival games was also the 5th official game in the Hive, which was published in 2019 at around June. So yeah, even though I do think that survival games is definitely the best game in Hive, like in my opinion, it still comes with both pros and cons. So first, let's go over the pros and the things that makes me enjoy most in survival games. So the first thing is definitely Hive based. I mean, a lot of games in Hive already have this factor as well, and this is really just good PvP mechanics. So I really think that the Hive has really good PvP and just fighting mechanics. Like in most servers, you just get a bit of knockback, and I really like how the PvP is in the Hive. You give a lot of knockback, and also the bows are like really OP, as well as snowballs and some other stuff, so it adds a bit of contrast and difference from the other servers, which makes Hive stand out most. The next thing that I would like to talk about in pros is good loot. So I think that survival games really came off from like a pretty developed game, and back then I remember when there was like seeds and stuff in the chest for loots, and now we have many good loots that are included in the Hive, such as like really good swords and stuff. And I do say that I think survival games has a pretty fair loot as well. But definitely some luck is also required to win sometimes. Last but not least, I do think that creativity is really important in games, and that is what makes games stand out in different servers. And Hive has definitely had that in survival games, and it really stood out to me because the contrast it makes from other servers makes the game even better. And things like supply crates and cash cows really just makes a difference and makes the game much more enjoyable as well. So overall, I just think that this game is very fun and enjoyable, and it's definitely a game for you to try if you haven't already. Now let's go over to the cons of survival games. As we have talked about the luck in the pros while explaining one of the factors, I definitely think that luck is one of the cons of survival game, and it's really what makes who wins or who loses. So basically what I mean by that is luck comes in with survival games because all you do is basically loot and then PvP, and the chances are you get really good loot or you get really bad loot, and that really depends on the luck you get from that day. So sometimes survival games can seem pretty unfair based on this luck con factor, but otherwise I think it's really good. Another con, and this is also the last con that we have on the list today, and that is the lack of maps and updates. So a lot of games in Hive these days have around 10 or more maps, especially like Sky Wars or Treasure Wars. Those main games have a lot of updates and maps, but I find that survival games actually are lacking some of those. You can really tell about the lack of maps and updates because if you look back on the maps on survival games, you probably also notice that there are only 4 maps, and that's SG4 and 3 other maps that I'm actually not familiar with. But You can also look back to the roadmap, which is where Hive posts their main updates, and you'll see there's not much game updates on survival games, while there's more on the other games, like, as we said, the main games Treasure Wars and Skywars. So yeah, there you go. Overall, I just think survival games is a very enjoyable and fun game, and it is definitely my favorite game on the Hive. So if you watched till the end, then go ahead and drop a moo in the chat for the cash cows. And also, if you did enjoy this video and would like to watch more content like this, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications to support my channel. You guys can just enjoy the gameplay for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.